Hey guys, welcome. In today's Microsoft Excel tutorials video, we are going to see about two important functions that are available in Microsoft Excel, and these functions are the date functions and the mathematical functions. Now these date functions are, as the name suggests, used to manipulate or view the present date and time, and how can we use them in the various steps. That's what we are going to discuss in this video. And as these mathematical functions are concerned, so these mathematical functions are used to apply some of the mathematical concepts onto the data that is available in the Microsoft Excel sheet, and what is their importance is what we are going to see in today's video. So first of all, when we talk about the date functions, then these functions are mainly concerned with the manipulations of the date and time. How can we get the present date? How can we get the exact time that is of today, and what is their importance? Suppose we are auditing a sheet or making any changes to a sheet, then it is important that we apply those changes and generate another sheet or a table in which it is mentioned that what changes have been made at what time and at what date. So using these simple date functions, we can easily just enter the value of the present date and time without having to manually add it. So that is the reason why these date functions are used. Now we are going to take a look at the 5 or the 6 date functions today, and these date functions are listed over here. These are date, time, now, time value, date value, and today. So we are going to look at them one by one and see that what is their importance. So first of all, we would be looking at the function date. So this date function, as the name suggests, what does it does is that it simply converts whatever text is given to you into a valid date format. So suppose here I have the format of a date, like 2020 is the year, 4 is the month, that is April, and 2nd is the day, that is 2nd April 2020. This is what the date I want. Now how can I convert it into a proper date format? So for that purpose I have to use this date function. So how can I use this date function? I just select one cell, press equals, because that is what we are going to use whether applying any function. Then type in the word date, open the parenthesis, then it asks for 3 arguments. First of all is the year argument. So for that, what I'm going to do is direct it to the contents of this cell. So I just click on the cell, put a comma, then provide it with the value of month, then put a comma, and then provide it with the value of day. Then as soon as I close the parenthesis and press the key enter, then you can see that this data that was available in a sparse format has been consolidated into a proper date format using the date function. Now similarly, if you want, you can just use it like this, equals date, and provide it with your values instead of the predefined values. Like I provided with 2020, the month as 3, that is for March, and the date as 12. Then I close the parenthesis and press enter. So now the date is being converted as 12th of March 2020. So that is the simple usage of the date function. Now we move on to our next function, that is the time function. As the date function, similar is the usage of the time function. It just converts any of the data that is available into a proper format of time. So we can just view its functionality like this, provided with the word time. Then it asks for 3 arguments, hour, minutes, and seconds. So I just provided with 9 hours. I put a comma, then provided with 4 minutes, and then for the seconds I just provided with 30 seconds and close the parenthesis and then press enter. So it has read it as 9:04 am. But what if you want it to be 9:04 pm? Then in that case, what do you need to do? That instead of 9, you got to provide it with 21, because this format of Excel works on a 24-hour format. So for that, what we're going to do is provide it with a 24-hour format. So open the parenthesis, and here I have written 21 in this cell. So just provided with the contents of this cell, put a comma, then provided with the contents of this cell, and seconds, it could be like 12 seconds I'm taking right now, and then close the parenthesis and press enter. So you can see that here it has written or returned the time as 9:04 p.m. So that is the usage of the time function. Now what if you want to know that what is the present date and time? So for that, what you got to do is use a function that is known as now, and it accepts no arguments. All you got to do is just write the function as equals now, open the parenthesis, close the parenthesis, and press enter. So this is what it has given, the date of today and today's time. So this is the function that is used most often whenever we are auditing or correcting any sheet. Then using the now function, you can easily arrange or set the date and the time of the present, and you do not need to manipulate it in any way. Alright, now we have another function that is known as the today function. So as the name suggests, today function is used to represent that what is today. Today's date is represented using today function. Now we have already seen that using the now function we can see today's date and time. So using the today function we can only view today's date instead of time. So just put an equals, write today, open the parenthesis, close the parenthesis, and press enter. As soon as you do that, you can see that this function returns today's date and not time. So that is the usage of the today function. Now there are two important functions, this time value function and the date value function. We are reading them because they are a part of date functions, but they are least used. What is their usage is, suppose I just click on this cell and provide it with date value, then it asks for a date text, then within double quotes I provide it with any date like 4/20/20. This is what I have provided it with, and then I close the parenthesis, and as soon as I press enter, you can see that this kind of a code is returned by it. So the date that I have written, that is the 4th of February 2020, has been converted into this format. So this is a numerical value in which this particular date is represented in Excel internally. And similar is the usage of this time value function, that whatever time we provide to it, it just converts it into a numeric value that is understood by the Excel itself. Now I just provide it with anything like 11:14 a.m. then close the parenthesis like this and press enter. So it has been changed into a numerical value over here that is understood by the Excel itself. So that is all about the date functions. Now you can easily understand that where you can use them. Now it is the time for the mathematical functions. Now what is their usage? Many a times when we are dealing with the mathematical data, then it is important that we need to provide some kind of information about it. Suppose we have a negative digit in front of us, like -90 is given in any kind of a data to us. Then we want to find its absolute value. We know that its absolute value is obviously a 90, but if we want to make some calculations, then sometimes we do not want to include that negative sign in it. We need only the absolute value of that particular data. So how can we get the absolute value is using the ABS function. So for that, what you got to do is put an equal sign, write ABS, open the parenthesis and provide it with a number like -90 I'm providing over here, then close the parenthesis and press enter. So it has only provided with a value irrespective of the sign. The value was 90 and that what it has returned, and the sign was negative, so it is not concerned about its particular sign. But what if we want to make any manipulations using the sign, or if we want to find the sign of a number? So how can we do that? There is luckily another function in Microsoft Excel known as the sign function itself. So for that you can just put an equals, write the word sign, SIGN sign, open the parenthesis, provide it with a number and then close the parenthesis, and as soon as you press enter, then -1 is returned. This -1 shows that whatever the number we provided to it was a negative number. Now what if we just apply the sign function to a positive number? Then what happens? We just open the parenthesis, provided with a number, close the parenthesis, then it only returns 1. That means it is a positive number that was applied to it. So that is the usage of the sign function. Next we have the square root function. The square root function is used to return the square root value of any number. To use it, you can simply just write sqrt, open the parenthesis, provided with the number, and then close the parenthesis and press enter. So since we provided it with a value of 4, so its a square root, that is 2, is returned over here. Next important mathematical function that we are going to see is the mod function. So for that we can just press an equals, write the word mod, mod, open the parenthesis. Now it requires two arguments, the number and the divisor. That is, whenever a number is divided by any divisor, what is the remainder that is returned to us is given by the mod function. Suppose we want the number to be 4 and its divisor to be 2. Then we would know that its remainder would be 0, and that's exactly what this mod function is going to return. Just close the parenthesis and press enter. So that's 0 that has been returned, signifying that when the number 4 is divided by 2, then 0 is the remainder. So these are some of the important mathematical and the date functions that we have looked at today, and these are used widely in different places whenever you are dealing with Microsoft Excel data. So that is why I have discussed them, and thank you all for watching this video.